Absolutely, we're going to build a wall. 100%.
Now, the wall is $10 billion to $12 billion if I do it. If these guys do it, it'll end up costing $200 billion.
Don, you're a little controversial. You're talking about illegal immigration. I said it's illegal.
You mean it's not politically correct, and yet everybody uses it? No, I'll use the word anchor baby. Excuse me. I'll use the word anchor baby. Poor Jeb Bush. I mean, this poor guy with this low energy. It's sad. No, it's sad. I came up with that term. It became so defining. It's like having it on his forehead. Jeb Bush is a low energy person. For him to get things done is hard. I think Jeb is a nice person. He's very low energy. I'm not used to that kind of a person.
Jeb Bush, we call him low energy, low energy.
He really is. He's low. He's low. He's low on energy.
You can't just tell Congress.
Look, Jeb is a nice guy. He's a stiff, okay? He ought to do what Walker did. Walker
you think he should drop out?
Oh, absolutely. He's no chance. And he's been branded as a low-energy person. I don't know who branded
By
him.
who?
I don't know. I can't imagine.
When you said low energy for Bush, you defined him so incredibly. It was over. He can have $125 million in the bank. It's over.
Who would you rather have negotiate with Iran, Trump or Jeb? And I think you can see I'm having a good time. I really am. You know, they said to Jeb Bush, he was like this. They said, "Are you having fun?" Yes.
I know how to do this.
My father always used to say, "Son, you've got to take the lumps out." He thought every once in a while I was too tough. Take the lumps out. Be soft. Be a little bit like Jeb Bush every once in a while. Soft. Take the lumps out. Be soft. Be a little bit like Jeb Bush every once in a while. Soft.
I will be a commander-in-chief that will have the back of the military.
He can't even put on a tie and jacket. He's running for president.
I won't trash talk.
Jeb. He's asleep.
I won't be a divider-in-chief or an agitator-in-chief. I won't be out there blowharding.
Don't fall asleep when I mention the name, please.
I think the next president needs to be a lot quieter, but send a signal that we're prepared to act in the national security interests of this country.
You know what's happening to Jeb's crowd, as you know, right down the street? They're sleeping. They're sleeping now.
To get back in the business of creating a more peaceful world. Please clap.
And the poll just came out, and I'm tied with Jeb Bush. And I said, oh, that's too bad. How can I be tied with this guy? He's terrible. He's terrible.
I got to get this off my chest. Donald Trump is a jerk.
He's a man that doesn't want to be doing what he's doing. I call him the reluctant warrior. And warrior is probably not a good word.
I feel better now. I gave myself therapy there. Thank you.
I think Bush is an unhappy person.
Apple Watch. My watch can't be talking.
I don't think he has any energy.
Is it my watch?
Short, tall, fat, ugly. Would we not all be worried to have someone like that in charge of the nuclear arsenal?
Mr. Trump.
I never attacked him on his look, and believe me, there's plenty of subject matter right there. That I can tell you.
Jeb Bush even said that Donald Trump is out to destroy the Republican Party. What do you think about that?
I think that Donald Trump is a fake. I think he's a fake conservative, and really there's not much about him that is conservative.
First of all, Rand Paul shouldn't even be on this stage. He's number 11. He's got 1% in the polls, and how he got up here, there's far too many people. Anyway, the people of Kentucky are being used by Rand Paul.
I'd like to also go back to, though, another question, which is Donald Trump a serious candidate?
The people of Kentucky should get a senator that wants to represent them, not a senator where it's a backup plan.
But just calling people stupid or calling them fat or saying they're bleeding, I mean, are just such ridiculous statements.
He's a disaster on military and defense. If I was in Kentucky, I would run against him, and believe me, I'd win.
You know, for a lot of us, it's like watching a car accident instead of focusing on the direction we should be headed. That's a sideshow out there.
But I've been nice to Scott Walker.
And Mr. Trump, we don't need an apprentice in the White House. We don't need an apprentice in the White House. We have one right now.
I said, oh, finally I can attack. Finally.
Excuse me.
No, we talk about
In
this.
Wisconsin, you're losing $2.2 billion right now. When the folks of Iowa found out the true facts of the job that you've done in Wisconsin, all of a sudden you tubed. He was number 1, now he's number 6 or 7 in the polls.
I have no respect for her. I don't think she's very good. I think she's highly overrated. She starts asking me all sorts of ridiculous questions. You could see there was blood coming out of her eyes, blood coming out of her wherever.
Excuse me, sit down. You weren't called. Sit down. Sit down. Sit down. Go ahead.
I have the right to ask the question.
No, you don't. You haven't been called.
I have the right to ask the question.
Go back to Univision. Go ahead.
You told me on my radio show that you would release your tax returns.
True.
Are you going back on your
No, I'm not.
commitment?
First of all, very few people listen to your radio show. That's the good news.
The idea of returning a blow every time you receive one, you know that doesn't work in any high-level
Well, I'm
situation.
a believer. Perhaps you're not. Maybe that's why your show isn't doing as well as it should be.
Oh,
because
you see,
really
that's
have a
not
better
nice.
show.
Why didn't you read my quote the way I said it?
Sir, I tried to pull it up and I didn't have Wi-Fi.
Well, then you got to get Wi-Fi, okay?
Well,
Don't ask me questions like that. You're not a very good reporter doing that.
You know what? Do this interview with somebody else.
Well, we talked about this yesterday on the phone. This is exactly what we talked about.
Do the interview with somebody else. Really. Yeah, you don't need this. Do it with somebody else.
Every poll you're in proves that.
Not to say that you are a protest candidate, because in our recent poll, CNN poll says why they vote for you, 71%. But can you deliver on that when, as you just said, the Ayatollah says...
He ain't talking to you anymore.
You just went. I mean, what are you making a statement or asking me?
No.
This really stupid guy, Chuck Todd. I won't use his name.
Let me let you respond to those poll numbers, which I think that you wanted to respond to.
I didn't want to respond. Your people called my office about 40 times asking me to go onto the show. So it's dishonest what you're saying, Chuck.
I refuse to call him Sleepy Eyes. I'm not going to call him Sleepy Eyes anymore.
You got to tell the truth, Chuck.
Let me ask you about your
Chuck,
debate.
you have to tell the truth.
For immigrants on the whole
Come on, try getting it out. Try getting it out.
I'll get it out.
I mean, I don't know if you're going to put this on television, but you don't even know what you're talking about. Try getting it out. Go ahead.
And going back to last June, is there anything you regret?
Yeah, I'd love to have done certain things over, but you can't. You can't. But that's true in life. And you would have too.
Give me one.
You would have loved not to have contributed to the Clinton Foundation, as an example.
Are you going to ask anybody else a question? Every single question comes to me?
Mr. Trump,
I know I'm good for the ratings, but it's a little bit ridiculous.
Doesn't even want to use the Bush name. He's ashamed of the Bush name. Ever see a sign that says Jeb Bush or Bush? Now, there's a reason he doesn't use his last name, because it's not going to work too well. We had a lot of problems with that last name.
I'd love to have your support. Hi. Absolutely. I'm Jeb. How are you?
What Jeb Bush has done to the Bush family is very sad.
Your brother and your brother's administration gave us Barack Obama because it was such a disaster those last 3 months that Abraham Lincoln couldn't have been elected.
Obviously, the war in Iraq was a big, fat mistake. George Bush made a mistake. We can make mistakes, but that one was a beauty.
He sent a clear signal that the United States would be strong and fight Islamic terrorism, and he did keep us safe.
I don't know, you feel safe right now? I don't feel so safe.
The last thing we need is another Bush.
I am sick and tired of him going after my family.
The World Trade Center came down during the rain in Georgia. That's not safe. That is not safe.
If you listen to him and you listen to some of the folks that I've been listening to, that's why we've been in the Middle East for 15 years and we haven't won anything. Free trade can be wonderful if you have smart people. But we have people that are stupid. When they send their product here, there's no tax. Come on in. We're the stupid people. Come on and sell whatever you want. You can win against China if you're smart. But our people don't have a clue.
They can't believe how stupid the American leadership is.
We give state dinners to the heads of China. They're ripping us left and right. Just take them to McDonald's and go back to the negotiating table. Seriously. I know the greatest negotiators in the world. Some are horrible people, horrible human beings. Who cares? I love them. I like China. People think I don't like China. I love China. I just sold an apartment for $15 million to somebody from China. How could I dislike China? I go to China. China loves me.
We live off Chinese manufacturing, whether we like it or not.
That's because when you say we, you are stupid. They just devalued their currency the other day. They call it a sucking action. They're sucking the jobs and the money right out of our country. That's what they're doing.
These dummies say, oh, well, that's a trade war. Trade war? We're losing $500 billion in trade with China. Who the hell cares if there's a trade war?
I would certainly start taxing goods that come in from China.
Sorry, sir, you lost, but I do want to understand that.
Oh, it's not that complicated, actually.
Donald Trump's candidacy is a cancer on conservatism, and it must be clearly diagnosed, excised, and discarded.
I see Rick Perry the other day, and he's so, he's doing very poorly in the polls. He put glasses on so people will think he's smart.
Donald Trump does not have the character, nor does he have the temperament.
It just doesn't work. People can see through the glasses.
He offers a barking carnival act.
I have many millions between Facebook and Twitter. It's great. It's like owning a newspaper without the losses. It's incredible. So I tweeted that Rick Perry should have to have an IQ test before getting on the debate stage.
Donald Trump is the system. He and Hillary Clinton are two sides of the same coin. She's made her millions selling access and influence, and he's made his billions buying people like Hillary Clinton off.
Carly was a little nasty to me. Be careful, Carly. Be careful.
Donald Trump isn't a conservative.
But I can't say anything to her because she's a woman, and I don't want to be accused of being tough on women. I can't do that, right?
Trump was watching Fox News with a Rolling Stone reporter for this week's cover story.
Can I do that? Women, am I allowed to fight back? Huh? Am I allowed?
Look at that face. Why would anyone vote for that? Can you imagine that's the face of our next president? I mean, she's a woman. I'm not supposed to say bad things, but really, folks, come on. Are we serious?
Ladies, look at this face.
Probably I did say something like that about Carla. I'm talking about persona. I'm not talking about look. Although when I get criticized for my hair, which isn't that bad, nobody does a story about, oh, isn't that terrible? They criticized Donald Trump's hair.
And by the way, look, it really is mine, right? Look at it, right? My hair. Give me a mirror.
I promised I wouldn't say that she ran Hewlett-Packard into the ground. I said I will not say it. The company is a disaster and continues to be a disaster. They still haven't recovered. That her stock value tanked. That she laid off tens of thousands of people. In fact, today on the front page of the Wall Street Journal, they fired another 25 or 30,000 people saying we still haven't recovered from the catastrophe. And she got viciously fired. I said I will not say that. Carly was at Lucent before that. And Lucent turned out to be a catastrophe also. So I only say this, she can't run any of my companies.
You were forced to file for bankruptcy not once,
I never filed
not
for
twice,
bankruptcy.
4 times.
Caesars just filed for bankruptcy. Almost everybody in Atlantic City is either in trouble or filed for maybe I'll blame Chris.
Well,
Atlantic City
Mr. Trump
is
also...
a disaster. Wait a minute, Carly. Wait. I'll let you speak.
Why does she keep interrupting everybody? Yeah. Why? Terrible.
Just maybe I'm getting under his skin a little bit because I am climbing in the polls.
But a new CNN ORC poll shows Fiorina making little progress.